Hi, welcome to Table for One. Have you ever asked yourself why you're a follower of Jesus? Like why you are a Christian? Have you ever really asked yourself that? Like what was the reasoning that you made that decision? Was it an event in your life where God plucked you out of some sort of tragic circumstance or just brought you out of something extraordinary and completely radically changed your life and you're like, you know what, the only thing to explain this is God. That's a very good reason. Were you brought up in church? And you just kind of accepted the faith of your family, of your parents. Was there an influential person in your life that said, you know what, this is the way to go, and introduced you to Jesus, and you just kind of made that decision for yourself? What was the answer? And because the reason to ask that question is that a lot of times when we have to go back to that question, when we go through things that are a little bit hard, when we go through things that are a little bit scary or a little bit tense, we go through hardships, and then we have to ask ourselves that when we kind of run into people who are doing things that aren't contrary. We have to ask ourselves that when we have a little bit of doubt in our life about our faith. And so it's important for you to know the answer to that. But it's also important for you to be able to treat people the way that you should be treated if you are a follower of Jesus, that you're supposed to love your neighbor as yourself, right? You're supposed to love God with all your heart, your soul, your mind, your strength, and love your neighbor as yourself. You're supposed to go into all the world and make disciples of all nations. Seeing people come to know Jesus, that's really kind of getting harder and harder and harder in our world today. But Paul, years and years and thousands of years ago, gave us this encouragement. He asked a lot of these rhetorical questions, and before he really wanted to get to the point, and this is found in Philippians chapter 2, beginning in verse 1, he says this: "Is there any encouragement from belonging to Christ?" Is there any encouragement from belonging to Christ? Like, I would ask that to you today, and I think the simple answer is, of course there is, right? Yes, there is. But Paul is kind of leading us somewhere, right? Is there any encouragement for belonging to Christ? Any comfort from Christ's love? He asks. Any fellowship together with the Spirit? Like, are you experiencing these things as a Christian? Are your hearts tender and compassionate? I mean, he's kind of saying they should be. You should have these things. You should have encouragement from belonging to Christ. You should have comfort from Christ's love. You should have fellowship together with the Spirit. Your hearts should be tender and compassionate. And Paul kind of says, hey, if any of that's true, which it should be, he says, then make me truly happy by agreeing wholeheartedly with each other, which is really hard to do, right? How could we possibly agree wholeheartedly with each other, right? Don't we have different ideas about a lot of different issues and different things? Agree with each other, love one another, and work together with one mind and purpose. You can usually say, don't be selfish. Don't try to impress others. Be humble. Think of others better than yourselves. Don't look out only for your interests, but take an interest in others too. And it leads us all into this to say, hey, you should take on the mind of Christ, who actually was a servant, who came to this earth to serve others. So for the next few moments today, just ask yourself, why are you a Christian? Reflect on that. Are you experiencing any encouragement from belonging to Christ? Any comfort from His love? Any fellowship with the Spirit? Is your heart more tender and compassionate? And how are you treating others? Are you working together? Are you putting others first? Or are you looking out to your own interest? Spend some time asking yourself those questions, and then ask God to reveal to you maybe something that He's wanting to reveal to you about this issue as well.